says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.
75,000 people were killed, 70,000 injured.
Exploding 1,500 feet above the target, leaving no crater. 500,000 people lived in Hiroshima, a town the size of Sheffield. Here and there, an isolated structure reminds the onlooker that here was once a city. From the man-made desert of Nagasaki and Hiroshima to the wide...
Due to the growing threat of the Japanese, the U.S. government ordered Robert J. Oppenheimer and other scientists to create a weapon to end the war. The atomic bomb was finished on July 16, 1945, forever changing warfare. Seeing the destruction and pain caused by the atomic bomb, the United Nations outlawed weapons of mass destruction in any use.
We knew the world would not.
Here's footage of Robert J. Oppenheimer talking about the Trinity test of the atomic bomb.
Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty.
On the 27th of September, 1940, the Axis powers were officially created, including Germany, Japan, and Italy. America sold weapons, food, and vehicles to help out in the war effort. America was just getting out of the infamous Great Depression. America was drastically increasing its navy power, and Japan saw them as a major threat. So on December 7, 1941, Japan attacked the largest naval base, Pearl Harbor. America immediately responded by joining the war. But let's backtrack a little bit to the beginning of a project started in Manhattan. The famous Manhattan Project was based around creating a weapon of mass destruction using the power of the atom. This project took a whole 7 years to complete, beginning in 1939 and ending in 1946. The United States spent $2 billion, or $22 billion in today's money. The United States desperately needed something to end the war. During the war, the Japanese were very relentless and sought to protect their honor. Due to this, American soldiers were fighting in constant battles that never seemed to end. Due to this, we increased funding to the Manhattan Project.
On August 6, 1945 at 8:15, the atomic bomb known as Little Boy was dropped on Hiroshima. The mission went smoothly in every respect. The weather was good, and the crew and equipment functioned perfectly. The attack was carried out exactly as planned, and the bomb performed exactly as expected. The crew of the Enola Gay was worried about the bomb going off due to the massive amount of weight and devastation it could cause to the start-off point. So, the crew of the Enola Gay took hours to learn precisely how to rearm during the flight. They knew that one wrong move could jeopardize the entire mission. And as we know today, that bomb did go off, demolishing the Japanese city. A great scar fell upon the land. Still burning homes and buildings filled with flame and smoke was all that was left of the once great city. The next bomb was dropped on the morning of August 9th at 1945. At precisely 11:02, the bomb Fat Man was dropped. Compared to the first, the second mission was much more eventful. Bad weather introduced several complications. The first B-29 arrived. However, the second B-29 failed to arrive because of the weather. After leaving the second B-29 and going after the first target, they experienced even more complications. A thick black smoke along with anti-air. After the third failure, a number of enemy fighters started coming after them. They headed to the secondary target, Nagasaki. We all know what happened next.
They were greeted, thanked, and many photos were taken. Here's one of those photos now. After the bombs dropped, the Japanese finally surrendered, and the war ended. The Japanese were extremely proud people, so surrender was very unlikely. With the war ending, thousands upon thousands of lives were saved. If the atomic bomb did not make the Japanese surrender, the next line of attack would be to send troops to Japan's other major cities. Because of the atomic bomb, thousands of lives were saved, and the war was over. We were at peace, at least for a while. 2 years later, the Cold War began. American and Russian citizens were in constant fear of a nuclear Armageddon. The Cold War ended in 1991, so over 40 years of fear of death, all because of a nuclear arms. That would be the fact that even today, we are still worried about nuclear devastation. This fear happened because we've seen what those weapons can do. The Cold War happened because of these bombs. Although lives were saved, fear kept growing. Tragedy of thousands of civilian lives will not be forgotten anytime soon.
Although some believe there will be another event like Hiroshima or Nagasaki, but with much more deadly force, others don't believe it. The pilot of the Enola Gay, Paul Babbitt, has said he doesn't think another event like Hiroshima or Nagasaki will ever happen in history.
Here is historic footage of the atomic bomb going off over Hiroshima.
The atomic bomb was a major triumph in war and science, but even triumphs has its own tragedies.